A Yeezy? I hear you cry. A Yeezy? When was the last time Tokyo Butter 23 did a Yeezy video? I can tell you it's been quite a long time. There have been a couple of big Yeezys that have come out in the last 2 or 3 months I thought about doing a video for, but I was like, nah, I'm just not feeling it. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm not making a video about it. It's very rare for me to just churn out content. It's always something I'm interested in, shoes that I like to look at, and things that I want to actually talk about. So, for, I don't know, maybe 6 months since I did a Yeezy, which is a long time for one of the biggest brands in sneakers. But then here, these Yeezy 700 Suns have come along. They caught my eye. I thought about it for a couple of days and I thought, you know what, I do want to talk about that. There are a few things I want to get into. So we're going to talk a bit in today's video about why it's been so long between Yeezy videos for me. We're also getting in the latter half of the video about the difference between the 700s, the 700 V2s and the 700 V3s. But before all of that, we'll take a look at the details that make this one of the coolest 700s I've seen in quite a while. So without further ado, let's get into this and take a look at the upcoming release of the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 Sun. This is the Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des. 毎日アップするので毎日見てください. And every single day I bring you content from Tokyo, Japan about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And today we've got a Yeezy in the spotlight. It's been a long time since I did a Yeezy sneaker at the channel. I would say I've done quite a lot of Yeezy 350s, which I think is a great shoe and an iconic silhouette, either in the original version or the updated V2 version or the updated V2 with the stripe along the side. I think they're all great looking shoes. But then the other stuff in the Yeezy line I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest. I've talked about 500 and 700s especially. And this one here, the original 700 Wave Runners is considered an absolute classic by a lot of people out there. And it's a shoe that people swear by. And this is an updated version of that. It's basically the same shoe with a different colorway on it. We'll be getting through all the different details on that. And then we'll get into the difference between a 700 V1, 700 V2, and 700 V3. And then finally, we'll talk about why it's been so long since I've talked about the Yeezy the channel. So first things first, let's take a look at this shoe and the detailing on it. Now, obviously, looking at the green screen here, you can see it's a sort of orange, yellow feel to the shoe. But one of the most important parts of a Yeezy 700 is the amount of different fabrics that go on, making it from meshes and suedes and leathers that all come together and balance out the shoe. Now, it's a very clever shoe because if you look from above, you'll be able to see that it's almost symmetrical from the left and the right sides. And if you look at the medial and the lateral sides of the shoe, they're almost identical and there's not much difference, which is kind of rare. If you think about a lot of shoes, even shoes like Blazers, Nike Blazers, or Jordan 1s, if you look at the lateral and the medial side, they're slightly different. But in the case of 700s with the Yeezy line, they're very similar, if not identical, from the medial and the lateral side. Now, a place to identify a 700 V1, and they wouldn't call it V1 because when they made it, it wasn't the version 1, it was just the 700s, is the middle mesh panel on here, which is high up on the shoe, and it doesn't have any lines running through, and we'll get into that later in this video when we compare these guys to V2s and V3s. But that middle panel on there gives you an idea of the different materials that are going on. You've got the mesh for the branding panel on there, and then around that you've got the suedes and the more natural fabrics going on. And the higher part of the shoe is orange, but then the middle part of the shoe they have black and obsidian blue. And it's very important because it would be an overpowering and an overwhelming shoe if it was all in those sort of pastel kind of orangey and yellow colors. So having that black and obsidian blue on there to break it up definitely makes a big impact on the shoe. And what also makes a big impact on the shoe is if we take it down to the midsole and you see this more orange than yellow midsole. Higher up on the shoe is sort of a mix up of yellow and orange, but down here on the midsole it's very much into the orange. And what's distinctive here is there's a little couple of panels towards the back end of the midsole where Adidas get to choose whether or not they go with contrast or complement. And in the case of these guys, they've gone with complement. You can see it's an orange midsole, and the two thin panels that I'm surely zooming in on right here are in the same colorway as the midsole. If we go back to our Wave Runners, that was one of the distinctive features on there, was that the two thin strips that I'm talking about were in orange in contrast to the rest of the midsole. And then back to today's shoe, you can see that part that I'm talking talking about is complementing its same color, and so that little detail's lost a bit. And again, that's why the black and the obsidian blue above is very, very important. Now I'm going to go to the insole quickly before we go to the outsole, because I love the outsole on these guys. So I'm going to go to the insole and just look at that, another real hot pop of orange, and then that Yeezy branding on the insole there to kind of top off the top half of the shoe. And it's easy to go from there down into the laces, and these laces are almost like there's a feel of kind of melon about them, a hint of green in them, and it really works against the rest of the shoe, the lightness of the laces against the oranges and the yellows, but with that obsidian blue to kind of pull the blueness out of the laces. So it's a nice choice in the laces. And then if we flip them upside down, like I said, one of my favorite things on these 700s is the outsole, which you can see on its outer edge is black, and then lower down than that you've got orange, and then even lower down than that you've got the white boost that makes up the midsole that you can see through the holes on the outsole. And these guys are kind of an iconic design for an outsole, very distinctive to the Yeezy 700s. And that's a good place for us to go to the Yeezy 700 V2. So we'll come to the lateral of today's shoe, and you'll be able to see that classic kind of wave runner design, but this time in a different colorway. And I want you to focus in on the mesh panel on the side, the branding panel on there that we talked about earlier, because then if we come to the V2s, and I don't know which colorway we'll choose, because I did quite a lot of V2 videos last year and the year before, but with that same mesh panel on the side, you can see running through it 3 or 4 horizontal lines of material that run through that. And that's a very easy and quick way to see the difference between the original 700s and the 700 V2s, because they are very similar looking shoes unless you know the specific details to look at. So that horizontal line or lines running through the branding panel on the side there give you that idea about the V2s. And then into the V3s, it's a completely different shoe. Now at the top of this video I said something like let's get into this video today about the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 Sun, and I really stressed the word boost because the V1s and the V2s have a boost midsole, but the V3s that we're looking at now do not. They don't have boost on them at all, and it was a big change for the Yeezy line to take one of their signature sneakers that had a V1 and a V2 with the boost, and then go into a non-boost area with their midsole. So that was a big step forward in the V3s, but I wanted to give you that look at the V1, the V2s and the V3s, and this is a good point to point out that usually I would have done that at the start of the video and then got into the details, but I've been flipping things about these days and doing details first and then the sort of story second. So hopefully that's more interesting to you guys out there. And the final thing to do, which hopefully is also interesting for you guys out there, is to talk about why I haven't done a Yeezy video in months. And there really isn't a conscious reason for it. It's not like I've been like, I will not do Yeezy sneakers. It's just that nothing's interested me. And there have been some big sneakers in there. There was the bread, the 350 breads that were reissued or restocked. And I think the zebras too were restocked during that time as well. But then there's been other 350 colorways that have come out that just haven't really interested me at all, and then some 700 V3s in there too, but I just really haven't been excited by the Yeezy line for the longest time, and I don't really know where they're going. It feels like they're treading water a little bit, and they're just sort of churning out shoes into a bunch of different colorways without doing much to sort of push the line forward. So hopefully Kanye's got his creative juices flowing, and he'll start to take the line in a new and interesting direction, and that'll mean I'll do more videos about the Yeezys in the weeks and months to come. But for now, today it's it's been a while since I did a Yeezy, but I hope you appreciate the content and enjoyed hearing about this upcoming release on January 23rd of the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 Sun. So without further ado, that's what you say at the start of videos, but I'll do it anyway. It's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content. I'll just say what I say at the end of every single video, which is I do this every single day, and that means you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.